What's up, everybody? Today we have a special treat, a camera or a line of cameras that I've wanted to shoot forever, and I finally got the opportunity thanks to Englewood Camera. This is a Hasselblad, not just any Hasselblad. This is the 503CW. This is the last film camera that Hasselblad put into production before introducing their digital line. I've always heard just how fantastic Hasselblads were. I love to shoot medium format, but these were always a little bit out of my price range. So I usually stick to my RB or an RZ I used to have. This is a digital just for size comparison. But I had never gotten to shoot a Hasselblad. So I'd never really dealt with the square format. I never really felt the body in itself. So these are gonna be my, my insights on what I thought of the system, what it was like shooting it, and just a few samples of what I got out of it. So first of all, this thing feels solid. I'm trying to think of a comparison that I can give you, and the best comparison that I can give you is that it is kind of like a Leica. Nothing like the body style of a Leica at all, but it's built like one. It feels very, very solid. And not solid in just it's heavy and tankish kind of way. It's solid and it all feels like one piece. It's not, obviously, but it's just, everything feels very well machined together. If you've ever handled a Leica, it's kind of like that. So parts of the camera that we really need to go over. First off, it's all manual, except this latest model, the CW, actually has TTL, which who the heck cares, because you're shooting with a Hasselblad and most of the flashes that you're going to be using aren't going to be TTL compatible with this thing anyway. But I guess if you have a compatible flash that'll work with TTL with this thing, more power to you. So it has a waist level finder. There are prism finders available. The finder on this thing is absolutely amazing. It is crystal clear, clearer even than the Mamiya. It's the exact size of the frame that you're going to be looking at. So you really do know, like a real time. It is the exact size of the frame that you're going to be looking into. So it is crystal clear and super, super bright. It's pretty much as bright as a scene you'd be looking at with your regular eyes. It's got a little switch here as a magnifier, just like the Mamiyas do. Pretty simple, open and shut. There is a winder on the side here. So whenever you take a picture, you'll advance the film that way. Actually, let me take this off, and nice shutter sound, just like that to wind the film. Really nice sounding shutter, not quite as bassy as the RZs, but or the RB, but super, super pleasing. Not that that really matters, but hey, you know, we're camera geeks, so whatever. This is the 120 back. Has a little chamber in here, and here's your insert. You'll just wind the film directly onto the spool, put it right back into the back, and then you get it lined up, which takes an act of God, apparently. There you go. And then you're in there. Dark slide, pretty self-explanatory. If you've ever used any kind of a medium format system, you can't take a picture with the dark slide in, so there's a nice little safety mechanism. To put it back together, there it is. Hook onto the bottom here, and right back on. The sample that I got came with a Zeiss 80mm planner T asterisk. I have no idea what the hell that means, but apparently it's a really good lens, and it is. From the little bit of shooting that I've done with it, it produces very, very, very sharp results. no complaints at all. One kind of weird thing is that this does not have a hot shoe or even a cold shoe bracket on the camera. So there's no real place to mount a flash. So what I ended up getting was a really cheap, I think I got it from Amazon, straight flash bracket. And it was just a little lever that goes out, and I just put a pocket wizard directly on it and then connected the pocket wizard to the lens to fire my strobes. Worked just fine. I think it cost me about 10 bucks. I'll put a link to it in my YouTube profile. Using it in the field, some observations I had, it was difficult for me just because I'm not used to looking down into a camera for the most part. I like prisms. I know that, you know, part of the mythos of shooting with one of these cameras is to look into the waist level finder, and it is beautiful. It's gorgeous. But for me, when I'm shooting on location, I like to be able to get to the angle that I want to. It's really hard to get above the camera in all situations, like especially if you're dealing with someone who's tall and you need to get on their level. You got to get a step stool or something like that so you can look down into the camera. For me, it's a little bit easier to use a prism, but it's doable. And there are prisms available even though they are a little bit expensive. Size-wise, I have a couple of cameras here to compare the difference in sizes. Here we have the Hasselblad. This is a D610, just to give you an idea if you're a digital shooter about what you're dealing with here. Let's see, there. And this is the RB67. The RB67 is a absolute tank, but it's super reliable and it's a beast of a camera, and it probably weighs twice what this thing weighs, if not more. But this has a 6x7 negative, this has a 6x6 negative. So this is a square format. This is closer to what you're going to get for an 8x10 print. Now, when dealing with a square format, there are a few things you should be aware of. One, you're almost always, if you're going to be printing these things, you're going to have to crop. If you want to put it in any kind of like traditional 8x10, 11x14, that kind of thing, you're going to have to crop pretty heavily. So that is the Hasselblad 503CW. Fantastic camera. Built like a tank. Viewfinder is phenomenal. The lenses, or at least this one, is very, very, very high quality. I really can't complain about it at all, except for just a few preferences that I have as far as the crop factor goes. But don't hesitate to pick up one. I don't know that the 503 is necessarily, I don't think that it's necessary to get the higher end of the Hasselblad. I think if you get like a 500 or something like that, that's a little bit cheaper, or 501, you're gonna get pretty much the same experience as this thing, because you don't really need the TTL these days anymore. But fantastic camera. Thanks for watching. Thanks again to Englewood Camera. They have been phenomenal in letting me use these bad boys, and hopefully we're going to come up with some really cool cameras in the future as well. Thanks for watching, guys.